Hello everyone. So I've decided to make a little short presentation of the work I've been doing for the proposal so far. So right now the proposal has been up for a little over 2 weeks. And I'm pretty excited to share the progress on what's being done and what has been made so far already. So the main focus of the proposal is Have You Been Here, which was outlined very clearly. So basically, what I'm doing at the moment is rebuilding Have You Been Here from scratch, and that's both the front end and the back end. There's a multitude of reasons for that. I won't go into much of detail about all of that right now because I don't think it's that interesting for most of you. But if you have any questions about that, just let me know. Like the main goal of recreating in short why I'm recreating Have You Been Here is to make it way easier to use, to make it faster on all regards, so there's optimizations all over the place, and to make the code base way more structured so that other devs can also work on it. Like if you would look at the code base of Have You Been Here 1, because I was just trying to build, the code base became quite messy, and it's very hard to get other developers involved in that way. So anyways, let's just jump right into it. So what you see right here are the first designs I made for Have You Been Here too. These are currently finished, both in the front end and the back end, and I will create a little demo video about that as well, and you will be able to see it right under this video. It should be linked in the post. So let's get started. As you can see, the first screen you see right here says, what do you want to create? So this happens after you tap the little plus icon you see right there. And then you see that there's three options. So you can either create waypoint, a post, or a trip. So let me get started with explaining what a waypoint is. A waypoint is basically your experience at a certain place. So let's say, for example, you went to the Eiffel Tower. You could create a waypoint about the Eiffel Tower. And you do that by selecting your images, then selecting the location of the place, which can already be automatically done, by the way, but more on that later. And then, describing your experience there. So you say, what it was like, you can give it some tags, you can give it a rating, and you say what time and what date, more specifically, actually, you visited that place. Then you have a post, and what you can do in a post is basically select multiple waypoints you've created and combine them in a post. Then you can then you can cross post that post to Hive, and it will also already show on Have You Been Here, of course. And then you have the third option, which is a trip. And what a trip allows you to do is basically link all of those waypoints together on a map, which, personally is my favorite feature. I love that. Just to see like your entire trip drawn out is just fantastic. So let's jump right into it. So the main issue we had with creating waypoints in Have You Been Here 1 was that a lot of people got confused. They didn't understand the concept and the differences between waypoint, a post, and a trip. So as you can see, like the starting screen makes it more clear because you have a little bit of info on what each of these things are. And then separating the steps more clearly also helps towards that regard. You'll see more about that in the demo video as well. So I think that's it for the short intro to Have You Been Here. So the design for creating waypoints is finished. The implementation of creating waypoints, both in the front end and the back end, is finished, and I'm now working on creating posts, which I'm, getting through. Quite well. I would say it's probably going to be finished by the end of this week, I hope. Okay, so next slide. The next thing I started work on was more of a fun side project, but also Hive related, is designs for a new sort of Hive wallet. So the idea, like what I really want to achieve with Hive wallet, once I start creating it, is the option to basically wherever you are trade at Hive with other Hivians. So the design, I really wanted to go as minimal as possible, as you can tell. So you have your QR code, then you have the option to swipe to show your balance because you don't want to show that maybe to everyone that's scanning your QR code. And then you have pull up to show transactions, which shows all the past transactions that you've done, and then the pay now button in case you want to make a transfer instead of receiving a transfer. So if you go to the last screen, if you see the last screen here, you can scan a QR code. I mean, that's going to be the idea, right? You can scan a QR code and the username, amount, and currency field will be automatically filled in. Then you hit pay and bam, you're done. So I think that's pretty much it for Hive Wallet. So let's go on to the next one. The next one is Lettucemeat, which is another project I've been working on. This is like for me one of the most fun IDs. It's definitely an after COVID ID, but the whole goal is that you can. It's like sort of like an Airbnb, but for meals, right? So you can create a meal and host it at your place. You can say how many people are able to come and how much it will cost, and then people can just book a meal at your place using either Hive or fiat currency. Hive back dollars it will probably be, and fiat currency. But this is like still very much in the design phase. I've enjoyed designing this a lot. There's a lot of designs for Lettucemeat already ready as well. But this is like a future project, so it's not something that has the main focus now. As the main focus is Have You Been Here? All right, so the next thing I want to talk about, it's actually about a question I've been getting a few times, and I think it's important to clarify it because I think a lot of people have questions about this. Also, for future reference, I'm always up for answering any questions you have about any of my projects. So feel free to reach out to me either on Discord, Mattermost, directly here on Hive, whatever is easiest for you. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So I wanted to explain why am I going through all of this hassle to create basically a centralized app um, instead of just putting everything on Hive, right? It's basically a case for product first. So I think a lot of you will probably have experienced struggle onboarding new people to Hive, right? Because for people who are not crypto enthusiasts, it's a lot of hassle. Like you have to get your keys, you have to learn so much. It's a lot to wrap your head around. And we live in a world where people are so used to getting instant satisfaction. They get instantly like know how something works before they actually make the commitment of starting to use something. And so that's where I think like I think this a lot more projects should start doing this is we should really focus on the product first and then use integrations towards Hive from that product. So because I have everything centralized on Have You Been Here, it makes it super easy to onboard users, like even people who've never used crypto or Hive or anything in their entire life, because you can just log in with a social account like Facebook or a Google account or whatever, right? And you can get going and start just using the app. Now, once you start noticing that users are becoming more and more active on the app, you can start to gently nudge them towards Hive, which is, the goal at the end of the day to increase the adoption of Hive. And so the way you can do that, like one example is say like, hey, look, we've noticed that you're quite active on Have You Been Here? Did you know that it's possible to earn some cryptocurrency just by doing what you're already doing, right? So now suddenly you have a really, really high incentive as an end user to start looking into Hive. Then you can also later on add other features into Have You Been Here, like, for example, maybe directly booking at a location and making that option to pay with Hive or Hive back dollars. And so suddenly the incentive to learn from an end user's perspective is a lot higher because the advantage is very, very clear and very tangible. Well, for if you do it the other way around, if you go, we need to get people on Hive first and then get them to use our dApps, it becomes a lot harder. Like it's not as tangible what the benefits are. Like, yeah, you can say, yes, it's decentralized. Yes, it's amazing. Yes, there's so many dApps. But as an end user, most people ask themselves the question, what do I get from doing this? And if it's not like clear in an instant and not easy in an instant, they will just leave. And that's just the experience I've had over and over and over again. So I think like Have You Been Here is a bit of an experiment. It's also different from my other dApps, which are directly on Hive. where we make a really, really amazing product first that everyone can use, and then we slowly and gently nudge active users towards the Hive blockchain. So I hope that explains the vision I have behind this a bit. But again, if anybody has other questions about this, just hit me up and I'll gladly answer all of them. And then last slide, but definitely not least, I've been looking for a developer. In the last 2 weeks, we basically had two developers who were interested. Then both of them had other commitments, unfortunately. So I'm now looking again for a developer. Like I'm building this thing fast. Like have you been here? I'm building it fast, so I need somebody with like a reasonable amount of experience in Node.js, Express, MySQL, and preferably also AWS. Um, it's a lot of work. I'm not gonna deny that. It would be for 10 hours a week for half of the proposal. So that's, if I remember correctly, 237 HBD a week. So if that's something you're interested in as a developer, just hit me up and I will gladly share more details about the project and what needs to happen. So I think that wraps up the presentation. If you have any other questions, please let me know. I hope you got something out of it. Is there anything else that I should be sharing right now? I mean, there's a lot of things in the works, but we'll get to that once the time is there. Um, nope, I think that's it. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, and definitely check out the demo video, which will be right below this one. And well, catch you guys in the next one.